Well, you mentioned the word experimenting. Was there a surprise that ended up on the record? Is it sonically or maybe lyrically that something that you...
Miniskirt was a big surprise. That was the last song that we recorded.
Okay.
And we were actually scrambling to finish it. We came across it, I guess the instrumentation of it in Delhi, New York, and then we started doing...
Well, you have to tell them that we did other retreats. They don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, so we went to Arizona and then we did 2 more. We went to New York and then we went to a cabin in upstate New York, and then we did another cabin in Putney, Vermont. And that was kind of the last one that we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miniskirt came together very near the end of the process, and we only, got the lyrics and the song arrangement in the last 2 weeks of working on things. So it really was kind of a clutch moment, and definitely surprised that we kind of thought we had a finished record, and then that one came out of nowhere and ended up being like kind of the centerpiece of the whole thing, which is cool.
It was very cool.
Well, you had these different writing and recording sessions, and can you, well, obviously you made them, so this is going to sound weird, but can you tell that they were written and recorded in a different place? Like you say Arizona was warm and sunny, and can you tell if now listening back to them?
No, not so much.
No, they all seem like we all had we had a very similar intent with each place that we were going. It was to go to a place that was quite secluded, that had sun. We were recording it in spring and then in summer. So each place kind of offered the same kind of vibe, though it was a different environment. And
we also, no song was completed at any one place, so they each had little bits and pieces from all of them. So yeah, it all comes together.
And you say you kind of stumbled upon Miniskirt. What originated that song? Where did it start?
Really loud synths. It started from really loud synths in Delhi, New York.
Yeah, we had some chords, and
you had a synth that you had been working on for a year or so, a synth sound.
Yeah.
And then we came up with the chords and the drums.
Well, it was more just a jam,
really loud jam.
Yeah, we made sure on these retreats that we had a PA system to write on. So not just like a little pair of studio monitors or anything, but a nice big set of speakers that could be incredibly loud. Especially because Austin plays drums quite loud, so being able to really get over top of that. And Miniskirt was just this jam we did one day for like 25 minutes that was like cranking loud, like painfully loud. And then we were kind of like afraid to touch it after that because it was like so good. But then how do you like capture that into an actual song? And that was like kind of scary to approach. But we found the right pieces.
When do the lyrics come in then?
Those came at the very end, like a couple of weeks before we finished the recording retreat, and they just came out. I don't know how. I think it's because the instrumentation was so aggressive and it made me feel a lot of aggression, and then those lyrics, the really feminist lyrics came about.
Because, well, like you say, that they are quite...
They're angry. To a degree. I don't know if you're going to say that word, but...
Well, you say angry, so that's... Did it help in a way?
Yeah, totally. I felt so cleansed writing that song. I felt so liberated writing that song. Like, at first I was like really excited but really nervous because it's a lot to put out. It's like a lot of a big message, and it's a message that gets really criticized. And I was nervous about how it would go over, and I was nervous about like being so like personal with it. And so I looked to these guys for the okay. I was like, is this, are you comfortable with it? Do you think it's going to be okay? And luckily they're very supportive. So they're like, yeah, let's do this. Let's put it out.
But in that sense, and had that been an issue for you?
Yeah.
The kind of part of what you were thinking about at that time?
Yes and no. Like I've had my obstacles being a girl doing music. And I but I didn't really know I felt that passionate about it. My mom's a radical feminist, and so I've grown up with, you know, discussions with her. I'm not quite as radical as she is, but yeah, songs just present themselves for a reason. Like, I tend to think of myself like more as a vessel for things coming through than like the mastermind of it. So
it's not that beforehand you think, oh, I'm gonna
no,
talk
I didn't.
about this
I actually rather, like, I didn't really want to talk about, like, I never had any intent to. I was never like, I want to write a feminist song at all.
Sure.
Like, that was never my intention. So.
And you say you were quite hesitant, so then you bring it to the band. Do you always know what she's writing about?
No.
No, yeah, sometimes
Most
no.
of the time not.
Well, no, I don't know if I'd say that.
No, I'd
but,
say most of the time you're like, oh, those are the lyrics?
yeah, but the message I definitely understand.
Yeah.
Like little individual words and things like, oh, okay, you know.
Austin has some really funny misinterpretations of the lyrics, and I actually really wanted him to write down what he thought the
His
lyrics
version.
were for Deep in the Iris. Yeah. Now he knows them better because we sing them every night, but yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah. I do that too with other lyricists. So.
But for you, yeah, like it is quite, and not just this song, but there are personal elements on the song. So is that difficult to share, not only with your bandmates, but with the world in a sense?
No, it's never been difficult for me to share that, ever. I was just nervous about that because I think just from like being observant to what's happening in culture with feminist intent, I think like oftentimes like people are kind of like unnecessarily like ripped apart because like they have like a strong opinion on it, and then somebody else has a strong opinion on that, and that can just get really messy, like mainly on the internet. But and like it was, you know, I am talking about like a personal experience that was like really hard that I had to go through, and so I was like nervous in that sense, but I also like just really wanted to feel liberated from like a lot of things that I had gone through as a woman, and like as a lover, as a partner, as a friend. Like it was a very healing process for me, so I just had to like be okay with getting it out.
In that sense, are all the songs autobiographical?
Yeah, I don't ever write about anything I don't know, like or anything that, like I only write about things I've experienced or things that I know. Like maybe an experience will be from like a very close friend or like a family member, but I'll never, I never like make up lyrics or stories or make believe or.
Which song was then the well? We discussed Miniskirt, so aside from Miniskirt, which song was the most difficult for you to write?
The most difficult, I think Sore Eyes, because there was a lot of apprehension with the word pornstar, because it's such an ugly word. And I think it has a lot of like really gross connotations, and like we really like to think of our music as being like really like beautiful and like kind of
liberating for the listener, maybe, or
well, yeah, it's just like we make beautiful music, and the word porn star is like, it's just like when you think of a porn star, it's kind of gross, it's kind of trashy, you know. And we have a lyric that's like saying porn star, porn star, porn star, porn star, and the boys were like, that's kind of weird. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's kind of gross. And I went back and forth a lot with like the wording on it to make sure that it wasn't trashy, I guess. And then the boys came around to it over time, and then we came up with Sore Eyes, so about watching pornography and feeling bad about it.
So now in hindsight, then can you and for you as well, can you kind of see a line through all of the songs?
A line?
Like a narrative?
Like a narrative?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can because it's a narrative for me. The lyrics are narrative. Like I can see Happy When and why I wrote the lyrics for Happy When, because I was meditating a lot. I was sitting out in a field at the farm that we were renting in Delhi, New York, and I was getting pretty into meditation. The song is like a lot about that, and yeah, I
definitely can, in the sense that you know, as we talked about, they're all very autobiographical. And so, like, I know Raphaelle the person, and the lyrics feel very much like a part of her as a person, and that is like the thread, you know what I mean, or the narrative within it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely all sits together because it all comes from the same person, and it isn't make-believe, or it isn't, you know, warped interpretations of something. It's all like very true and real.
Yeah, and we've all been there through things.
Yeah, we've all been through, like, I've been through many of those experiences that are being written about with you or alongside you,
Yeah.
you know?
And also just because we went to such, such beautiful places, and we really sought them out. I can just remember, like, each song, the chorus, where the chorus was written, and where the bridge was written, and, like, where we tracked the guitars, and, you know, thinking of you and I, like, in Prescott, like, standing by the piano, doing the guitar chords for taste, and yeah, there's definitely a story in my mind, a very beautiful story in my mind with the record.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Finally then, Taylor, I believe you hinted at this already, but now you are playing live shows. And I read somewhere that on the previous record you weren't content with the way it was translated into a live show. So have you figured out now what works and
Yeah, I feel like we really have. Not that before it was bad or anything.
No.
It was just not quite there. You know, we were like getting our grounding with it, and you know, our first record was recorded after all the songs were written for live. Like, all the songs we wrote while playing shows, and recording was kind of an afterthought. And then the second record was the first time that we ever did the opposite.
Studio record.
And it was really hard, and we didn't really know what we were doing, and we parted ways with a member, so we were down to 3 people instead of 4, and we changing all this equipment, and it was a very much like a transitional period. But now, you know, during the third record, I feel like we're finally in our zone with it, and feeling like so confident in how it is that we perform and what we're doing on stage, and just the general, like, we had some pretty lofty goals for the musicianship that we wanted to get across, and the way in which we wanted to perform, and I feel like we're really hitting those, which is nice.
Yeah.
I feel really good about it.
Yeah, I feel very good about us on stage.
Yeah.
is there maybe a song that does well or kind of gets the crowd going, or yourself
People
going?
love Warm Like Summer.
Yeah, Warm Like Summer. We really,
Yeah, I'd say that's a big one.
Yeah. Warm Like Summer, Miniskirt.
Austin does this really intense drum solo, and always
He would hate that you call it a drum solo, though.
What does he call it?
I don't know, drum outro.
It's a solo. Maybe he would hate that, but he does a really good one, and he's just like sweating, and people are like, they're just clapping because he's going and going and going, and at that point it really feels like we're a band.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. It was nice.